So speaking of super, super cool people, our next guest is another one who tonight's episode is so full of inspiring people, and he's another one that I met, and I would like to think our paths would have crossed anyways, but I don't know if they would. So the ALS Association and Seasoned Sunflower Hour has brought some super amazing people in my life, and he is one of them. His name is Steve, and he has spent more than 30 years as the founder, the president, and the CEO of the Cochlan Group, which is an insurance and executive directors benefits organization. Now, he was at the top of his career, and Steve found himself having all of these, he was battling muscle twitches that went on constantly and involuntary. And after, numerous tests, numerous doctor's appointments, he was sat down and he was told the sentence that nobody wants to hear. He was officially diagnosed with ALS. So that, of course, will turn your world upside down, but I am so impressed with what he has done with it. He's another one, just like Colleen, who has refused to sit back and let ALS define him and turn him into a victim. He has stood up with such strength and such courage to take it on and say, not today, ALS. And he's done some amazing things with it. So to tell us about his journey, please welcome Steve Cochlan.
Thanks, Season. I appreciate the intro and appreciate you folks having me on here tonight. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that, oh my goodness, Colleen's attitude and her the way she inspires people is just amazing. And Colleen, keep that up. That's just awesome. And Peggy, your passion for serving and helping, and I could see the love in your heart toward Colleen and vice versa. That was just so great to see. Just wish everybody in America had that type of thing going for them. So appreciate you both.
I love that you said that. Wouldn't the world be if everyone had a little bit more of that in their hearts?
Well, we're called to love one another, right? That's the greatest commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Period. End of story. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that you did that. But Steve, you can't see Colleen. She's back there in our little green room. She is cheering. She's so excited. She's so honored, I know, by what you're saying. So is Peggy. But that's how I look at you, to be totally honest. I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. So you and I, we met each other because of this, or not even met each other in person thanks to COVID. But I was hearing so many great things about you. I got to talk to you on the phone, and by the time we hung up the phone, I felt like I've known you for years. I felt like we were new friends. I can't imagine now not having you in my life. I don't know where you've been all these years. In my life, I am so blown away by you. I can't wait for all these people on Twitch to get to hear your story as well, because it's pretty amazing. So let's start back at the beginning. So April 23rd, 2019, you got that horrible sentence. Like I said, the sentence that nobody ever, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. No one wants to hear this. You were diagnosed with ALS. So where'd your head go? You said something that really hit me. What did your doctor tell you when this all happened?
So it was interesting. The process actually started in 2018 in the summer. And I started getting all these twitches and fasciculations in my chest and my nose and my arms. And I just said, you know what? Something's wrong here. So I went to Mayo Clinic, got some preliminary tests. The doctor came back and said, we think you may have ALS, but we want to run some more tests. And of course, like a lot of people, I had no earthly clue what ALS was. I heard of Lou Gehrig's disease, but I never heard of ALS. And so I went back a couple months later, had every test in the book. And the doctor brought me in and said, hey, guy, just got to tell you, you've got ALS. You've got 2 to 3 years to live. So go home and pack your bags and get your house in order. And it was literally a 2-minute conversation. And it hit me just, I was praying and hoping all along that wouldn't occur. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I went back into the room and started thinking about this disease and how I was going to cope with it. And, just millions of things going on in your mind, of course. And how I was going to tell my family and my friends about it. So it took me about probably 3 to 4 weeks to really, really process it and then start communicating to people outside of my family as to what was going on. And in many cases, even months before I did so. But one of the things that during that process that struck me as I was looking for answers, and in fact, this is how I came to you folks, is I called Mayo and said, what do I do? And they said, well, one of the things you might want to consider is look up your local ALS association. And so I called, and about probably an hour later, Jumana Baruti called me back. We had a great conversation. She came over to meet with me and my wife right away. We started conversations, what this is going to look like, and all that type of thing, so I get a better feel. And then we connected good there. And then I was thinking, from I really needed to connect with somebody too to actually spend time with me, pray for me, connect with me. And I was trying to find some organization out there connected with ALS that would know ALS and walk through this with me from just a shoulder to cry on, so to speak. And that's when I started thinking about, why doesn't the disease have a place for people to go that can get some Christ-centered type of love, to really give them love and support as they walk through this challenge. And there wasn't really anything like that in any disease, not just ALS, whether it's cancer or Parkinson's disease or MS or whatever. And as fate would have it, tell me if I'm talking too much, by the way.
Never.
So as fate would have it, I was out, and I've been blessed to still be able to play golf, although it's not pretty. I'm probably hitting the ball about 150 yards with the driver, which
Okay,
is
so I just say that better than I could ever do. So great,
yeah.
you're doing great.
So anyhow, I'm out there and I'm playing with a buddy of mine, and I just said, you know what, this is what I'm thinking. And he goes, I have somebody you need to talk to. I mean, I had no idea, I wasn't trying to get his help, but he just said, I have somebody you need to talk to. And this individual's name's Bill Shield. And Bill is the president of Northern Seminary. And so they've got a group over there that helps people launch different programs. And so he connected me with Tommy Lee and Sarah Martel, and we started thinking through this. And then meanwhile, believe it or not, I was talking to Jumana about this, and she goes, you need to talk to Julie Sharp. And I go, really? Tell me about her. So she gave me the skinny on Julie, and I called Julie, and Julie said, that's a great idea. We need to try to figure out this. And then she connected me with one of her board members as well. And we just started the program going. And that was probably, 11 months ago. And we just launched it this last, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we're starting to bring people aboard. It's a free program, and it's really just to come alongside people with ALS, their family members, their friends, their caretakers, and just provide love and hope and support. It's just a shoulder to cry on, or if they need just somebody to talk to, or whatever. But be on that journey with them from start to finish. And by the way, it is a Christ-centered type approach, but you don't need to be Christian in order to avail yourself. If you don't want the prayer, the best of my recollection, Jesus loved everyone. So guess what? This is open to everyone. And if you don't want prayer, so be it. You just need somebody to walk alongside you, love on you, and just a listening ear. So be it. That's great. And we provide that free of charge. And just the whole goal is to just provide these folks with hope as they're going through this ugly, ugly disease that we have.
And you jumped right in. I was going to tell you that you've taken this and you've used this voice, like how we keep saying Colleen lost her voice to gain her voice. You luckily have not lost your voice, but you've gained a whole nother level of your voice and your outreach. And so I want to throw the name out there because we didn't say that. So you saw this area that there was a need. that something was missing. And I love you, and the person you are wasn't about to just sit back and be okay with that. You said, no way. What's missing? What do we do about it? You made it happen. So just about 4 weeks ago, you opened the doors, you made it official. You've called it ALS Family of Faith, which is what you were telling us about. So explain that again a little bit for people that don't understand. So what are the services that you actually provide? The doors are open to everybody. It's free of charge. What can they expect when they come to ALS Family of Faith?
Well, the bottom line is we just want somebody to be part of their family from the perspective that they can come to them with anything that's bothering them, and just be either a prayer warrior or a listening ear or somebody that's to cry on their shoulder, whatever, and just walk through this. It's not about being a psychologist or any of that kind of stuff. Um, but these people are trained to love on people. So again, even though it's Christ-centered love, because the way Christ love is beyond anybody way we can love, it's not just germane to people who are of faith. It's people, anybody that is involved with ALS, and we just want to love and support them. That's it.
I love that. And you mentioned it's free of charge. And I want to point out, I was reading an article, so tell me if I'm wrong on this, but not only is it free of charge, but you haven't been asking for donations. I mean, you've done all of this. You have sponsored all of this. You are paying for this. You are putting this all together to just truly help others and to make their life a little bit better. It's all coming out of your pocket.
We don't want donations. We don't want people to feel pressured. There's enough, and not that I'm
Yeah.
got to be careful how I say it, but there's a lot of places that you can call in, and then at the end they go, now can you give us a seed or a donation or whatever the case may be. We don't want that. We don't want them to feel pressured that they owe anything. We just want to love on people. That's it. Provide just a source, an outlet, I guess, for people to talk to, and the goal here is to match them with somebody that's compatible. They write the script. The individuals that are asking for the service write the script as to what's going to happen, and then this person should walk through that all the way from start to finish with them. That's the goal.
You bring up a great point. You call it writing the script. So it's not this cookie cutter one stop shop where everyone's getting the same type of path. It's not that, right? It's truly
No,
individualized based on exactly what you
absolutely,
want.
absolutely. If somebody wants just to call in and have an hour of their time, just listening to what the person has to say, great. If they want to sit back and have the other person talk to them the entire time, great. If you want to just sit and cry together, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do. If you want prayer, ask for prayer. It's just whatever those individuals need and want is just to give them love and support throughout this crazy time that we're going through.
I can't believe that this hasn't been in existence. I'm so glad that you recognize that need and you did this. And when we had talked on the phone, you made a really great point. So, what do you see are the future of ALS Family and Faith? Where do you want this to go?
Ideally, I'd
Big
love to see
question.
I'd love to see everybody avail themselves of it, and just use it to help them walk through this crazy journey that they're on. And then eventually we are hoping to use this as a template. And we've already discussed this with some large entities to go into fields like cancer or Parkinson's or muscular dystrophy or multiple sclerosis, all of those places, because there's nothing like that out there. And we want it to be free of charge. We don't want to charge people for this to love on them. That's crazy. So
You realize you have just sparked something here. You've just started this legacy that is larger than life. 100 years from now, I can't wait to hear people still talking about ALS Family of Faith and then all the great things it spawned into. You've done this. It all started with you.
well, it's not me. I was inspired by somebody else. So, yeah, I'm
Uh,
just the tool. I'm just the tool.
well, he's working through you and he's doing it pretty darn well because I just can't. And you've done all of this in such a short period of time too, despite all the
Well,
other.
and that's what's amazing. It's really amazing that just to be talking about it, and then somebody makes an introduction. Then you talk about it again, somebody else makes another introduction, and then all of these people come together and they're compatible to be able to work with one another to develop this vision. And it's not me, by the way. I mean, I might have been involved in that big picture, but I'm not in the trenches doing all this. The work that's been performed is by others. It's crazy and how fast they've developed this in such a short amount of time and the quality of which it is. And we're combined with the Grow Center at Northern. We're combined with Moody Seminary. So those folks are involved. Um, and they just all have a big passion for helping people. It's just neat to see.
Uh, well, it all comes from the idea, and you're the fearless leader, and it starts at the top. So seeing all of them get the work done so quickly, it makes a lot of sense when it's you leading the ship. So kudos to you on getting this done because this is such an amazing feat. And we put the link up there. I want to throw that up there again. So it's in our comment section. We'll throw it up on here too because I want you guys to check it out. So if you know anybody that's going through this journey, if you are experiencing this journey, check them out because it is just love. It's just loving on each other however you need it. And I
And
think
I'll say one more thing. There's a lot of resources on there too. So we have a resource tab where you can click on that will send you over to books and movies and email and whatever. That will be a resource for you as well. So there's some pretty neat stuff on the website.
cool. They'll have to check it out. So I don't know if you guys caught one of our episodes. It was actually, I think, our last episode. My days are running together. But the Rickies were on, the husband and wife. So they just chimed in. Mike Ricky just jumped in to say thank you, Steve. He wanted to thank you so much for everything you're doing in such an awesome way to provide support to those with ALS. My prayer is that your vision will continue to grow and many will find comfort through ALS Family of Faith. That is coming from the Rickies. So I love that there's so much support, and you just launched this, and already, I mean, you're a superstar in my mind. You're a big time celebrity now. So we're lucky we even got you on the show because you were doing radio interviews earlier today about this. This is already just blowing up, which is pretty darn exciting to see.
Well, and it's so neat to see how God's hand is in all this stuff. It's crazy. I'm sitting by, I'm just going, okay, great. And then people are calling and I mean, it's really fun. It's really a blessing.
Were there any challenges going through this process? I mean, because you're a seasoned sort of businessman. You've been in the business world for 30 years, started a business. Now you kind of transitioned into starting this. Were there any hurdles you had to get through? Any challenges that were pretty difficult
You
bringing this
know,
vision to life?
that's a good question. There really wasn't. What's interesting is out of all of the companies that I've been involved with in starting and bringing to fruition, this has probably been the easiest one. Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I think that's a pretty great sign that you really had the guy upstairs walking next to you, just kind of clearing everything out of your path to make sure that this was happening.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's the whole thing is to glorify God in all you do. And I'm going back to Colleen for a second. One of the things that we're called to do every single day is to be joyful. That's a command. Be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances. That's God's will for you through Christ Jesus. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be thankful for the circumstances that we've been given, because I don't like ALS as much as the next person, but we have to be thankful in all circumstances. So even though we hate what's going on, we still have to be thankful. And so and that's not always easy to do, believe me. But every morning, that's my goal. I got it on the wall. Be joyful always, pray continually. Just go at it, try to make a difference in the day. So
You make a good point because it's real easy to feel blessed and be thankful when you're on a high, when everything is going good, but when the chips start to fall and things get real tough, it's real hard to keep that positive mind. So I mean, you're right, Colleen. is doing it, you're doing it. Every time I've talked to you, you've been so happy and so joyful. And you're not wasting a second. I love this. You are just making your life count every step of the way. And not only are you doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for this whole entire community and anybody that reaches out to you. I'm so proud to know you.
Well, thanks. And Susan, and it's been great knowing you too. And you know what's interesting? This is, and I told somebody this today on the radio. Um, but if it wasn't for ALS, I'd still be doing all these other crazy things that probably weren't very important.
Okay.
You know, I live in life large, doing my own thing, you know, having fun. Don't get me wrong. I always made an attempt to contribute, make a difference and all that, but not to the extent that I'm doing today. I think this ALS sort of platformed me in a different situation whereby, um, you know, these other opportunities that I've uncovered and opened up that I'm doing and involved with, I would have never done before. I think you know, it's just I don't like ALS, but in some respects, it's been a true blessing.
Oh my gosh. See, the fact that you can even look at it that way is so special. You really are finding sort of the beauty and the joy in something that is so ugly. You've turned it into something that is really beautiful. I can't believe it. Well, before we go, I mean, I want to hear a little bit about you because you are such an amazing communicator and you still, I mean, you look fantastic. You still have great mobility, but I was really surprised. I was super shocked when you told me that you've lost about 70% of your muscle to ALS already, right? I mean, I wouldn't even be able to tell. How has
I
the disease?
have. That's this shirt right here. This is I don't know what size it is, but I used to fill it out. Not this one, but this size. In fact, this is my ALS shirt, by the way. I just want to make sure everybody sees that.
I love
So,
that.
but yeah, so it's my body has deteriorated a lot. I mean, because of you know the fasciculations, because your muscles are going, you know, 100%, you know, 24/7. Um, so I've lost some good weight and I've lost a lot of muscle strength. But you know, again, I think part of where I've been blessed is I try to keep positive all the time, regardless of that. You know, God still has a plan. He's going to figure this out. You know, whether it's here or in heaven, guess what? I've got hope for eternity, and in heaven there is no pain. So, so who knows?
You've got the best attitude. Well, thank you so seriously. Thank you for being here because, and like I said, you're already a celebrity. I don't know how you fit us in.
Oh, right,
I know
right.
there are so many more interviews and radio and all kinds of great stuff in your future. But you guys check out ALS Family of Faith because what Steve is doing, what Steve and his whole team are doing, is so incredible. So I can't say it enough.
Yeah,
Make
my
sure you.
team.
Yeah. You know what, though? But again, it all comes from the top, and you are the fearless leader that has set this ball in motion. So if it weren't for you, this wouldn't even be happening. Aw,
Hey,
to
Susan, can I say one
yourself.
more thing real quick?
Yeah, you can
I,
say so
I
much.
would love, and to the viewers, I don't know who's on here, how many people, and all that type of thing, but I would love for season to spend 15 to 20 minutes on one of these sessions, somebody grilling her on how she got involved, because she has a great story too.
You are so sweet. So, and I haven't been sharing that story a lot lately. So when we were talking and you asked me, I loved being able to talk to you about that. I love being able to share stories. And I mean, from what I told you, I've told you this, but I know that my friend and you would have just loved each other. He would have been one of the first people in
Hmm.
line to come to those doors at ALS Family of Faith because that I mean, he was right behind that. He believed all of those same things, and I know that he is up there cheering you on. And he was probably one of those amazing little angels that was down there protecting you, knocking all these obstacles out of the way.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's going to be a big party in heaven for those that believe. So we got to get everybody up there so we can party together.
Heck yes. So when you get up there, his name is Frank. So make sure you him. He was a big surfer, so he's gonna want to take you surfing and teach you something so you guys can surf and party away. Oh, thank you. I just keep getting emotional on these episodes. Keep getting so. Is there anything else you want to say to all of the Twitchers out there that are watching?
No, just, keep a positive attitude. God loves you. Um, just look to him for the future, for hope, for all of eternity. And just understand that this isn't all there is. There's heaven for all of eternity. So
Mhm. You make a great point. This is not all there is, Steve, but you are doing so much with your time here on Earth. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know there's so many people that are watching this now that are inspired and are going to look into this and see how they can help. So thank you for being the leader to get this going.
thank you,
Thanks.
Season. I really appreciate you.
Uh, well, I hope I see you again very soon because, like I said, I feel like I've known you forever. So this friendship is beginning. And if there's any way that I can ever help, you just let me know because I'm so proud of you and I want this mission to succeed and I want this to just grow into something bigger than life. So
Thank
keep
you.
up the good work, keep that positive attitude, and I hope to talk to you really, really soon.
That sounds terrific.
Bye.